Hello and welcome to Kitte's Corner. Today's segment, Keeping It Cool with Kitte, where Kitte divulges all her secrets for how to keep it cool. Well, Kitte, how are you so cool, and how can others emulate said coolness?
Well, be rather incompetent. That's how it goes. And then laugh at yourself. There you go.
Excellent. Be incompetent and then laugh at yourself.
Yep.
Thus ends probably the only episode of Kitte's Corner. Keeping it cool with Kitte. How are you, Kitty?
I'm all good. How are you, Dorkus?
I'm all right. I wondered this week if the Holy First Witness thing was just Tyndwell's translation, where Sazed was working with the announcer, and then Tyndwell was working with Holy First Witness. But it made a point of saying in the book that it was a mix of both of theirs. So I'm still looking forward to seeing why there was that specific switch.
Yeah, that is a possible explanation, but then again, they're not going to have two different versions of that to work with. They worked on it together.
Mm-hmm.
Their handwritings together. I don't know why both of them would copy down the same thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe they had they each had notes and then they consolidated together. So that might be it. You know, like different, basically like us, my edition versus your edition. Who knows?
Right.
But we need that in world. We can't headcanon it. It's not good enough.
Yeah, because this thing really is too big for it to not have an answer. I have faith. Let's see where it lands.
Mm-hmm. Shall we?
No, because there was one other thing that I had thought of this week.
Okay.
Is it possible that the hero just cannot be named because naming the person instills in them some sort of performance anxiety? I say somewhat humorously, but some sort of, it changes your consciousness knowing you're the hero. Therefore, it will affect whatever it is you do with the power. Therefore, whoever the hero is, it has to be someone who has no inkling and just kind of falls into it by accident, literally at the well.
Maybe. I mean, that works. Then Rashek it was not the hero of ages. He wasn't named such and didn't think of himself as such.
Right.
So how does Rashek fit into that?
Not a clue, but it was just a thought. Because we know that Sazed certainly doesn't think of himself as the hero. I also ruminated on these dual factions, right? We've got the mist creatures, and it feels now as if there are good mist creatures and bad mist creatures.
At the moment, yeah.
Yeah. And then we've got the Inquisitors, who seem to know something. Let's call them Quan's side of equation. So I feel like there are two factions. I'm not quite sure which is which. Like, which is good and which is bad.
Yeah, and so there's these two factions trying to stop the Well of Ascension from being accessed or used by someone.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
one is trying to get it because they're trying to get. They're both trying to stop it, unless we want Sazed to be using the Well of Ascension, which means the mist creatures want him there.
Right. Well, so the mist creatures removed the segment, Alendi must not be allowed to reach the Well of Ascension. And we're trying to figure out, I think we lean more towards the good mist creatures did it to call attention to it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Based off of our knowledge, and it's really up in the air now between whether or not Alendi was or was not the hero of ages, but I think that action is supposed to connect to whether or not Vin should or should not reach the Well of Ascension, which stands in opposition to whatever it is that Marsh seems to know, which I'm guessing, based off of what limited information we have, he's listening to God the way Zane did, and we know that God doesn't want Vin dead.
Mm-hmm.
We know that Sazed thinks that Vin is the hero of ages, but he's going in effort to stop Vin from doing anything yet, too.
Yeah.
We presume that God wants Sazed dead, but we think that Sazed is the hero of ages, which suggests God is evil, or the Inquisitors at least are, or incorrect, which places the mist creatures in the good.
You're speaking as if we know that it's God that's speaking to him. I'm not saying that it isn't, but we don't know. We don't know why he's doing this. And he's not like, also what he said was, I have to kill you now. Like, it's not like I have to stop you and restrain you until Vin is done with what she's got to do. I've got to kill you. And the Inquisitors have killed a lot of Terracemen. So I'm wondering what that has to do. Why does he have to kill Sazed?
Yeah. And again, for some reason, I keep linking the Inquisitors with Quan because, well, Quan's sheet was at the conventicle and they worked for Rashek. Really, clearly, they seem natural allies.
Mm-hmm.
But again, Marsh is a loner amongst them, and he doesn't like the Inquisitors last we meaningfully had any time with them.
Yeah, but there might be some truth that made him he has to accept.
That's
he has to do this.
That's what I've been living with this week, thinking he must know why Quan came to his conclusions, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Or what Quan was doing. Not Quan, sorry, what Rashek was doing. But like maybe he knows something about that now. I don't know, but also how the hell is Sazed not gonna die now? He's gonna have to try and talk Marsh out of it, and I don't know how you're gonna do that because Sazed's low on all of his resources.
Yes,
to
but
fight an Inquisitor.
Yes, but he does have his emergency rings to use.
Does he have speed?
I don't know.
Well, let's get into it. I want to see it. Is there anything else?
Not that I can think of. Hello and welcome to the No One Asked You podcast. For this particular series, I am joined by my wonderful co-host, Matt Dorkus.
Dorkus and I are both going into the story completely new, with almost no knowledge of the story or world.
Each segment, we intend to cover what happens in each new chapter and discuss our experience along the way.
Hold on to your butts, because this is Ascension Unleashed, a blind read-through. And today we will be covering Chapter 58!
Chapter 58! Alendi must not reach the Well of Ascension.
Yeah, we knew this. Thanks for the filler, but also very apt, because that's the thing that was removed. So, cool. Let's see.
What if...
I suppose... Yeah.
Go on.
No, I suppose it's what we've got... Alendi mustn't reach the Well of Ascension. Now, in this chapter, our Alendi is reaching the Well of Ascension, so...
Yeah, that's what we're thinking.
Yeah.
But what if it's like a totally stupid thing where it's like whatever it is that Alendi and Vin have to do isn't at the Well of Ascension. So it's like, no, we can't reach it. He has to do it elsewhere. That's not what it is.
The point is as well, though, something's got to give because it seems like this well is full, and that's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
It seems, remember, I think it has to be held. Remember all of those theories right now, that it has to be held. It seems like the power needs to be held in some sort of way so that the well is not full.
Yeah.
Because that seems to be how the mists get their power or something, I don't know. So... answers, please. I mean, we are really almost at the end. We need the answers. Come on.
I'm ready for them. Lord Ruler, Elend whispered, pausing at the edge of the second cavern. Vin joined him. They had walked through a natural stone tunnel for some time, leaving the storage cavern far behind. It had ended here, at a second, slightly smaller cavern that was clogged with a thick, dark smoke. It didn't seep out of the cavern as it should have, but billowed and churned upon itself. Ooh.
Okay, so it's smoke, not
Mist.
Mist.
That's exactly what my
Okay.
mind went to.
Mm.
Finn stepped forward. The smoke didn't choke her as she expected. There was something oddly welcoming about it.
Okay, Alamancy? What do you mean welcoming? Oh, it's just this nice, what is it, like incense smoke. Okay. Come on.
She said, walking through it across the cavern floor.
I see lights up ahead.
Elend joined her nervously. Thump, thump, thump. Ooh,
Ugh.
scary.
Thanks for that paragraph, and now we gotta... Okay, oh, but now we're back with Sazed.
Sazed slammed into the wall. He was no allomancer. He had no pewter to strengthen his body. As he collapsed to the ground, he felt a sharp pain in his side and knew he had cracked a rib, or worse. It's not going well
Good
for him.
times. Yeah, I didn't expect this to, but what are we doing here? Oh, yeah, so now it's cracked rib, meaning breathing is not going to be fun.
Yeah. Who do you think's going to win this fight? You think it's Marsh?
Marsh wins the fight, but I don't know. Sazed has to survive this fight somehow, so talk to him? I don't know.
Yeah. Marsh is intent to kill. We don't know why he's intent to kill. Sazed, I highly doubt, is going to kill Marsh. So...
What if Sazed dies, Dorkus?
No way. No way.
It's possible.
Yeah, it's possible.
Because you've decided he's the hero of ages, therefore he doesn't die.
I got it. I'm calling it now. Sazed dies. Marsh brings his body down to the well, puts Sazed in the well. Sazed is the hero of ages.
Okay. Why not? It's possible. We don't know anything. So.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah. I'm
Seriously,
all in. Marsh
was
wins.
that a joke? I honestly think
no,
it
I'm
could
serious.
Happen. Seriously.
It could happen.
Okay.
Marsh strode forward, faintly illuminated by Sazed's candle, which burned fitfully where Sazed had dropped it. Why did you come? Marsh whispered as Sazed struggled to his knees. Everything was going so well. Okay. No, that prediction can't happen because Marsh didn't want Sazed here in the first place, so he has no reason to put him in the well.
Yep.
Unless the instructions change? No, they want Vin... Marsh wants Vin to do what Rashek did at the well, I think. Oh my gosh, there's just too much going on. Let's keep going. Everything was going so well. He watched with iron eyes as Sazed slowly crawled away. Then Marsh pushed again, throwing Sazed to the side. Sazed skidded across the beautiful white floor, crashing into another wall. His arms snapped, cracking, and his vision shuddered. What about what's left in the rings? Your emergency
rings. I don't know what's
rings.
left in the rings. I don't know if what he's got in there and how long. I don't know how much he's got left of that because I think he's used some.
Through his pain, he saw Marsh stoop down and pick something up. A small pouch. It had fallen from Sazed's sash. It was filled with bits of metal. Marsh obviously thought it was a coin pouch. I'm sorry, Marsh said again, then raised a hand and pushed the bag at Sazed. What are you thinking, Marsh? It's obviously ferrochemy metal. Don't give that to him. Sorry, I'm not Team Marsh. For the sake of the statement.
Okay.
You don't believe me, Kitty?
No, I am. It's you're just thinking of what he's doing.
Yeah. The pouch shot across the room and hit Sazed, ripping the bits of metal inside, tearing into Sazed's flesh. Oh no. He didn't have to look down to know how badly he was injured. Oddly, he could no longer feel his pain, but he could feel the warm blood on his stomach and legs. I'm sorry, too, Sazed thought as the room grew dark and he fell to his knees. I've failed, so I know not at what. I can't even answer Marsh's question. I don't know why I came here. He felt himself dying. It was an odd experience. His mind was resigned, yet confused, yet frustrated, yet slowly having trouble.
And I look, he can absorb the. Listen, he doesn't have to have the rings on his fingers to get the power. It's in him. He's been shot with with some health stuff essentially. So yeah, he's gonna go. I think he's gonna have something, but I just don't know if it's enough for an Inquisitor fight.
Those weren't coins, a voice seemed to whisper. Whispers! Mist creatures, I bet! The thought rattled in his dying mind. The bag Marsh shot at you. Those weren't coins. They were rings, Sazed. 8 of them. You took out 2. Eyesight and hearing. You left the other one where they were. In the pouch, tucked into your sash. That is more than any whisper we've seen before. And I don't think that was... That's clearly not a thought.
To him.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's you. But it is italicized like a thought, so it's in his mind. That's all we know. So it's something speaking to him in his mind.
Yeah. I think it's that mist creature that pointed him in this direction. Sazed collapsed, death coming upon him like a cold shadow. Yet the thought rang true. 10 rings embedded into his flesh, touching him. Weight, speed of body, sight, hearing, touch, scent, strength, speed of mind, wakefulness, and health.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
Like health, he can heal. Let's go.
He needs it. He tapped gold. He didn't have to be wearing the metal mine to use it. He only had to be touching it. His chest stopped burning and his vision snapped back into focus. His arms straightened, the bones re-knitting as he drew upon several days' worth of health in a brief flash of power. He gasped.
Woohoo!
Woo! He gasped, his mind recovering from its near death. But the gold mind restored a crisp clarity to his thoughts. The flesh healed around the metal. Sazed stood, pulling the empty bag from where it stuck from his skin, leaving the rings inside him. Ugh.
Woo! That's so cool.
That's some really fast healing, too. It's not like drinking vitamin C. That's some serious healing.
And now he's a modded human. Those aren't coming out again.
He dropped it to the ground, the wound sealing, draining the last of the power from the gold mine. Marsh stopped at the mouth of the doorway, turning in surprise. Sazed's arm still throbbed, probably cracked, and his ribs were bruised. Such a short burst of health could only do so much. Do you also see a bit of a parallel with Rashek and his metal mines?
What, a parallel? How?
Because they were, done as piercings in his arm.
Yeah, they were in his arms. Now, this is all the way inside. And an Elementor cannot pull on them because it's inside his body. So.
Sazed's arm still throbbed, probably cracked, and his ribs were bruised. Such a short burst of health could only do so much. But he was alive. You have betrayed us, Marsh, Sazed said. I did not realize those spikes stole a man's soul as well as his eyes. That's a powerful... Ask why. I want to know why.
Yeah, exactly. But this is Sazed. He's kind of got this... he's weird in his... That's a confrontation, but also he's not confrontational. He's not going to ask why. He's like, fine, so you have chosen to fight me. It's very formal. It's like, no, really, we do need to ask. Use your scholar's brain, but he's a beefhead right now. He's a beefy boy. He's just about the fight, I suppose.
You have betrayed us, Marsh. I did not realize those spikes stole a man's soul as well as his eyes. You cannot fight me, Marsh replied quietly, his voice echoing in the dark room. You are no warrior. Sazed smiled, feeling the small metal mines within him give him power. Neither, I think, are you.
Woo! Yeah, I don't know. This is not gonna be not gonna be an easy fight. But he does know that he has to take that spike out. So
if he's prepared to kill his friend.
It's not his friend. It seems like he's like, you've betrayed us, boom. So you have chosen death. Exactly. He's like, done. That's it. And listen, this is grieving, angry Sazed, like all kinds of emotions as well. Like, I've just lost Tyndall. I don't know what the hell's going on with Vin. I'm just here. I feel like I've failed because I don't know what's going on. And then you come here. You have the audacity to betray us. Let's go! Listen, I feel like it's a hard fight, but I'm. It's not like I'm Team Marsh. Exactly what you're saying. Like, it's not like I'm Team Marsh. It's just I don't know how this is. And they're little metal mounds in there.
Yeah.
But,
you know what excites me about this fight, though?
Mm-hmm.
For the longest time with superhero movies, it sort of became a joke that in the first of whatever new superhero movie you were making, you had the superhero and then the evil version of that superhero. Iron Man and Ironmonger, and so on and so forth. In the first book, we had Mistborn v. essentially Metal Mistborn. I am so here for the Keeper versus Mistborn fight.
Yeah, here we go. And also, obviously, with this chapter, this stage of the book, we're switching scenes a lot quicker. We had this before as well. Okay, we had long scenes and we switched between POVs. But yeah, this is obviously the pace is up because we're going to another POV.
Yeah, it lends itself to that quick feeling you get when you're reading.
Yeah, and so that's I think it also helps us get to this place of suspense because it's like, what's going to happen? What's happening? We cut away. Oh no, I don't know what's going to happen. Like these quick cuts are, they help you feel the urgency.
Yeah.
Let's get to it.
I am involved in something that is far over my head, Ellen thought as they passed through the strange smoke-filled cavern. The floor was rough and uneven, and his lantern seemed dim, as if the swirling black smoke were sucking in the light. Yes, you are in over your head, Ellen, but who else can do this?
Yeah, we're sorry you're in over your head. We're all in over our heads. It's the way it is. There's no one who is equipped for this. So, yeah.
Vin walked confidently. No, determinedly. Oh, that totally reminds me. The episode aired this week with the first Alrion POV.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember when I was trying to describe the word and I, for the life of me, couldn't figure out what word it was that made me like it so much? Or how to describe why I liked it so much?
Mm-hmm. What was the word?
The word I think I was looking for at the time was resolute. Alrion was very resolute in that chapter.
Yes, there it is, yeah.
Yep. Vin walked confidently. No, determinedly. There was a difference. Whatever was at the end of this cavern, she obviously wanted to discover it. And what'll it be? Ellen thought. The Well of Ascension? It's kind of what it's seeming like. It's what she thinks it is.
It's something.
But Vin's kind of being possessed right now, in a little way.
She's possessed by an idea. I don't think she's being possessed. Like by some entity.
Yeah. I don't know. She could be hearing the whispers too.
Yeah, she probably is hearing something at this point. But she's not being crazy, Ellen. That's another thing. This is for real. You're in a room with smoke and all of this stuff. She's led us to a place that we didn't know existed. I don't think she's making it up.
Yeah.
I don't think so. It's just a hunch.
The well was a thing of mythology, something spoken of by obligators when they taught about the Lord Ruler. And yet he had followed Vin northward expecting to find it, hadn't he? Why be so tentative now? Because you're about to see what is essentially a divine object in existence.
Yes, it is something that is awful, if you know what I'm saying. It's going to bring you awe, and it's scary, but is the book trying to be like, look, this is something bad, we should turn back, kind of thing? Yeah, I'm not buying that. But look, Ellen also knows this is wrong. Okay.
Perhaps because he was finally beginning to accept what was happening, and it worried him. Not because he feared for his life, but because suddenly he didn't understand the world. Armies he could understand, even if he didn't know how to defeat them. But a thing like the well? A thing of gods beyond the logic of scholars and philosophers? That was terrifying. Yeah?
Okay, there you go. but we can't ignore it. It's right in front of us. Very terrifying, but we can't leave it alone. We can't be like, you know what, it's fine, I'd rather not know. It's making itself very known.
Mm-hmm. They finally approached the other side of the smoky cavern. Here, there appeared to be a final chamber, one much smaller than the first two. As they stepped into it, Elend noticed something immediately. This room was man-made, or at least it had the feel of something man-made. Stalactites formed pillars through the low-ceilinged room, and they were spaced far too evenly to be random. Yet at the same time they looked as if they had grown naturally, and showed no signs of being worked. Neat.
Okay, well, cool. But they were worked by God's hands, like because he created mountains and things. Interesting.
Mm-hmm. So, we both have said many, many times we don't think Vin is the hero of ages, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think she will be successful in doing whatever it is to the well that she thinks she's supposed to do?
No, if she's not the hero of ages, there's gonna be some problem.
But it could be Rashek 2.0.
Yeah, which at least keeps everyone alive, I suppose.
I suppose.
Yeah, no, if it is something. That's what he was doing, so she could do what he's been doing and keep everyone keep the deepness at bay, and then the hero of ages is still supposed to come. So we basically are just on Rashek 2.0, but Rashek 2.0 without the evil, which is good.
Sure. The air seemed warmer within, and thankfully they passed out of the smoke as they entered. A low light came from something on the far side of the chamber, though Elend couldn't distinguish the source. It didn't look like torchlight. It was the wrong color, and it shimmered rather than flickered. Vin wrapped an arm around him, staring toward the other end of the chamber, suddenly seeming apprehensive. "Where is that light coming from?" Elend asked, frowning.
A pool.
Vin said quietly, her eyes far keener than his.
A glowing white pool.
I think they found it.
Mm-hmm. And wasn't the deepness this black thing? So okay, we've got this well of white power. Sorry, take that out. I didn't know until it came out. I was like, what?
Do I have to take it out?
No. If we laughed at it, that's fine. We know what I meant.
Let's say it's just a white energy.
White energy.
Yeah, so there's a white energy, but the smoke around it is black, which speaks to a corruption.
Mm-hmm.
Elend frowned, but the two of them didn't move. Vin seemed hesitant. "What?" he asked. She pulled against him.
That's the Well of Ascension. I can feel it inside my head. Beating.
Ooh, I have pulsing.
Okay. Well, yeah, pulsing, beating. I think pulsing better. But okay, so it's inside her head. I'm kind of glad that she is apprehensive now. Okay, and she's like, no, maybe she will have the instinct that she mustn't use it somehow, or that this is wrong, or something like that. So, do we have gold on hand or something that you get? Basically, it's like an 8-ball, so you burn gold, and in this shadow over here is what I could be if I don't take the power. Like see if there's some insight we can get with gold from
Would
this.
be nice.
Yeah.
Gold is underutilized. I need more of it in these books.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know, I think Vin's like, okay, now that I've found it, and it's right here, and I can feel it. What the hell am I supposed to do with this? Am I supposed to get in?
It would be a shame if someone shoved Elend in.
Yes. And then actually it transports him to Elantris.
Yeah. Unironically, that's kind of what I'm thinking could happen. And not Elend being transported to Elantris. I mean, someone could use the well to transport to Elantris. Yeah. Elend forced a smile, feeling a surreal sense of displacement. "That's what we came for, then."
"What if I don't know what to do?"
Vin asked quietly.
"What if I take the power, but I don't know how to use it? What if I become like the Lord Ruler?"
Elend looked down at her, arms wrapped around him, and his fear lessened a bit. He loved her. The situation they faced, It couldn't easily fit into his logical world, but Vin had never really needed logic. And he didn't need it either if he trusted her. He took her head in his hands, rotating it up to look at him. "Your eyes are beautiful," she frowned.
What?
"And part of the beauty in them comes from your sincerity. You won't become the Lord Ruler, Vin. You'll know what to do with that power. I trust you."
Oh.
Chad Elland.
That's what you do. Oh, that's very good. That's not simp. That's Chad. I don't know what to do. I'm not going to take it myself or whatever. I don't know. I think people that are too angry at wokeness would be like, yo, you see? Look, now he's got to step out of the way for the woman to do it. But it's like, no, literally, she is the one with more power. So we do kind of think she is the hero of ages. Like, she's special. She's magic. And she can feel this thing thumping in her head. I think she's the one, like if I'm in Ellen's head here. And encouraging her, not lying to her, encouraging her is also still a masculine thing to do, being the rock for her,
Your eyes are beautiful.
You've said it now.
I know, I'm trying to make a joke, Kitty.
Say
the line.
I didn't get it. What?
And don't believe in yourself. Believe in the me that believes in you.
Please. Oh, good Lord. Of all the things we've done to this bit of literature, this is what you add to it? Oh, goodness.
Do you know the reference?
I don't, but I know the cheesiness of it. And I've heard that before. Anyway, get serious.
Look, I'm very nervous.
Yeah, we're trying to just be... We don't want to get to it, essentially.
She smiled hesitantly, then nodded, but she didn't move forward into the cavern. Instead, she pointed at something over Ellen's shoulder.
What's that?
Ellen turned, noticing a ledge on the wall of the small room. It grew straight out of the rock beside the doorway they had entered. Vin approached the ledge, and Ellen followed behind her, noticing the shards that lay upon it. "Oh, it looks like broken pottery," Ellen said.
Wait, what's the O? What's the O? Tell me.
It's the book cover, Broken Pottery.
The book cover?
Well, my book cover.
Oh, okay. I'm like, what? Okay, yes, okay.
Maybe. "It looks like broken pottery," Ellen said. There were several patches of it, and more of it was scattered on the floor beneath the ledge. Vin picked up a piece, but there didn't seem to be anything distinctive about it. She looked at Ellen, who was fishing through the pottery pieces. "Look at this," he said, holding up one that hadn't been broken like the others. It was a disc-like piece of fired clay with a single bead of some metal at the center. "Yeah, that's the cover."
Ooh, yeah.
And maybe it's depicting what Rashek did using atium at the well.
Oh my goodness, this is like the seals on the Dark One's prison in the Wheel of Time. It seems like atium is something that you've got seals of things that like there's 7 seals on things. It's a trope, actually. But this atium at the center of the pottery, I suppose, holds this seal together, and then when they all break, the deepness or whatever the well is unleashed. And so those things are all broken. Is this one not?
No, this one is broken.
Okay, so all of them are broken, so that's the problem. So maybe this atium is what he's been using to put into to somehow keep the well at bay.
So you're thinking they have to reforge or refire the pots?
Yeah, or something like that. That's just what I'm being influenced by Wheel of Time.
Sure.
Because the Wheel of Time literally
so
has discs. Yeah.
It was a disc-like piece of fired clay with a single bead of some metal at the center.
Atium?
She asked. "It's the wrong color," he said, frowning.
What is it then?
"Maybe we'll find the answers over there," Ellen said, turning and looking down the rows of pillars toward the light. Vin nodded and they walked forward. "It's the wrong color, huh?"
Okay. What would it be then? What kind of metal is it? Oh, maybe it's an atium alloy?
Maybe it's duralumin, steel, iron, copper, gold.
Like, it's something. Yeah, it's a metal though.
Hmm.
But because remember, atium is difficult to make into an alloy, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and we said there was some counterpart of the metal that we hadn't learnt about. So this might be it.
Maybe.
Hmm.
Or maybe like maybe there's several
it?
jars and each jar is a different allomantic metal.
Yeah. Yeah, that would make sense too.
Marsh immediately tried to push Sazed away by the metal bracers on his arms, but Sazed was ready, and he tapped his ring iron mind, drawing forth the weight he had stored within it. His body grew denser, and he felt its weight pulling him down, his fists feeling like balls of iron on the ends of lead arms. Marsh immediately lurched away, thrown violently backward by his own push. He slammed into the wall.
Yeah. Sorry, I just love that. It's like he thought it was going to be easy. That was great. And then it also turns into an attack on him. Great.
Yes. He slammed into the wall, a cry of surprise escaping his lips. It echoed in the small domed room. Shadows danced in the room as the candle grew weaker. Sazed tapped sight, enhancing his vision, and released iron as he dashed toward the addled Inquisitor. Marsh recovered quickly. He reached out, pulling an unlit lamp off the wall. It zipped through the air toward Marsh. Sazed tapped zinc. He felt something like a twisted hybrid of an allomancer and a ferrochemist, his sources of metal embedded within him. The gold had healed his insides, made him whole, but the rings still remained within his flesh. Where in his flesh?
I don't know. It seems like it was pretty deep. It's not like you can just see them.
Kidney stones.
You know, like they're piercings. Yeah, he's got exactly kidney rings.
This was what the Lord Ruler had done, keeping his metal mines inside him, piercing his flesh so that they would be harder to steal. Or maybe...
Yeah, we made that.
I mean, yeah. But, or maybe there's... Nah, I don't know how to say what I want to say.
Maybe there's a benefit of having it inside you in some way. Maybe it's closer. You have a better rate of burn.
Yeah, or some sort of connection to what you have to do with the well, and this is prophecy, fate unfolding for Sazed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sazed drew upon his steel mind, tapping physical speed. He zipped across the room, air rushing in his ears as he shot past the open doorway. He snatched the lamp out of the air, then tapped iron hard, increasing his weight many-fold, and tapped pewter to give himself massive strength. Marsh didn't have time to react. He was now pulling on a lamp held in Sazed's inhumanly strong, inhumanly heavy hand. Again, Marsh was yanked by his own allomancy. The pull threw him across the room directly towards Sazed. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like the lesson that Ham gave to Vin. You have to be careful about when you activate your pewter mind. Save it for, like, the moment of impact so you don't waste it.
Yes, exactly. But now listen, I've got something else here. So you harder to steal. I've got that had always seemed morbid to hate to Sazed. Now he saw how useful it could be. His thoughts sped up, and he quickly saw the trajectory of the lamp. So that was just I don't think you had that.
I'm doing a quick scan for the word morbid, and I'm not seeing it in the future. So, wow.
Yeah, and here we go. Marsh would be able to use it as a weapon against him. So Sazed tapped steel. Allomancy and ferrochemy had one fundamental difference. Allomancy drew its powers from the metals themselves, and so the amount of power was limited. In ferrochemy, one could compound an attribute many times, drawing out months' worth of power in a few minutes. So yeah, I don't find that repetitive. I needed that because I just want that to be relevant, to be like in play. What in this fight? I just want that line. So, but that's just me. I like that storing compound. That I just want that fact restated for me. And that's all I mean.
Gotcha.
But I can see that would piss you off. Well, that would just irritate you.
Yeah, I can do without it. I guess there have been less reminders of compounding, so it could pass, but I'm fine without it ultimately. Marsh didn't have time to react. He was now pulling on a lamp held in Sazed's inhumanly strong, inhumanly heavy hand. Again, Marsh was yanked by his own allomancy. The pull threw him across the room directly towards Sazed. Sazed turned, slamming the lamp into Marsh's face. The metal bent in his hand, and the force threw Marsh backward. The Inquisitor hit the marble wall, a spray of blood misting in the air. As Marsh slumped to the...
Woo!
Yes.
Sorry. We got blood. But, sorry, as you were reading that and I was thinking about compounding and basically a trick that you can do in Skyrim with enchanting things. Basically, you compound a certain skill and that influences another skill and whatever. So it's a workaround. It's not supposed to be possible. But it's one of the things, and basically you can end up getting exponentially, like you wear a necklace and you get exponential carry weight, basically. So
Nice.
I was just thinking about what if Duralumin is something that ferrochemy, like it can be a ferrochemical metal, and
That would be neat.
that somehow is a compounder. You know, like it timeses everything. Like it feels like that could be a cool thing to do with it, but I don't know.
I agree. Sazed should try. I'm surprised.
Go God mode with it.
Yeah, I'm surprised Vin never gave Sazed a block and was like, hey, try something with this.
Yeah, they're not... I think it's just because of the nature of the keepers and things like that. They're just like, no, this is just where we're at. This is how this works, and we're not innovating in any way. We're not vinovating. Okay. Anyway, we got blood.
Sazed turned, slamming the lamp into Marsh's face. The metal bent in his hand, and the force threw Marsh backward. The Inquisitor hit the marble wall, a spray of blood misting in the air. As Marsh slumped to the ground, Sazed could see that he'd driven one of the eye spikes back into the front of the skull, crushing the bone around the socket. Ugh.
Wow.
Don't die, Marsh?
No,
At least
he's
without
gonna
giving
die.
us answers?
Yeah, this is true, but I think we have to kill him. We can't let him heal. He's got pewter and things like that. It's any time off. Let's, gets him closer to his ultimate, kind of thing. It's not. Yeah, I don't know if we have time for answers. So I know we've had this in in this book where people die before we get answers.
Yeah. Look, for Sazed, this is self-defense. I wouldn't, blame him, but, I don't want either to die. I like Marsh. I want to know why Marsh is doing the things. It's fine. It's fine.
No, we have to. Sorry. This is, Dorkus, we don't have time. Dorkus wants to talk to everyone that's trying to kill him. Why? No, they're trying to kill you, dog.
I'm the worst D&D player because of that impulse.
Investigates. No.
Sazed returned his weight to normal, then jumped forward, raising his impromptu weapon again. Marsh threw an arm up and pushed. Sazed skidded back a few feet before he was able to tap the iron mind again, increasing his weight. Marsh grunted, his push forcing him back against the wall. It also kept Sazed at bay. Sazed struggled to step forward, but the pressure of Marsh's push, along with his own bulky, weighed-down body, made walking difficult. The two strained for a moment. Pushing against each other in the darkening light, the room's inlays sparkled, quiet murals watching them, the stairway to the well yawning open. "Vi, Marsh," Sazed whispered.
There you go.
Yay!
I mean, they're in a standoff thingy, so why not talk?
"I don't know," Marsh said, his voice coming out in a growl. "That's
Okay,
not
cool.
an answer, Marsh."
No, he doesn't know, so you know what? He can die. It's fine. He doesn't know. Cool, we can...
Say God is talking to you. I assume. I don't know. With a flash of power, Sazed released his iron mind and instead tapped steel, increasing his speed again. He dropped the lamp, ducking to the side, moving more quickly than Marsh could track. The lamp was forced backward, then fell to the ground as Marsh let go of his push, jumping forward, obviously trying to keep from being trapped against the wall. But Sazed was faster. He spun, raised... Yes, Sazed's kicking ass.
Mm-hmm. And he does have mental speed or whatever as well enhanced. So he's performing a lot better than I expected, and I am not mad about that.
Mm-hmm. But Sazed was faster. He spun, raising a hand to try to pull out Marsh's linchpin spike, the one in between his shoulder blades, pounded down lengthwise into the back. Pulling this one spike would kill an Inquisitor. It was the weakness the Lord Ruler had built into them.
The kill switch.
But are you willing to do that, Sazed?
Yeah, but he knows it's got to happen. It's like He's got to keep fighting. I'm happy that he wants answers, but he's using. He's like, fine. If you're not going to tell me, you got to die. You're trying to kill me, and you don't know why. Okay, well we can't figure this out, can we? Let's just turn you off, okay?
Sazed skidded around Marsh to attack from behind. The spike in Marsh's right eye protruded several extra inches out the back of his skull, and it dribbled blood. Sazed's steel mind ran out. The rings had never been intended to last long, and his 2 extreme bursts had drained this one in seconds. He slowed with a dreadful lurch, but his arm was still raised, and he still had the strength of 10 men. He could see the bulge of the linchpin spike under Marsh's robes. If he could only... Okay, so it sounds like he is prepared to do the deed.
Mm-hmm.
Marsh spun, then dexterously knocked aside Sazed's hand. He rammed an elbow into Sazed's stomach, then brought a backhand up and crashed it into his face. Sazed fell backward and his pewter mind ran out, his strength disappearing. He hit the hard ground with a grunt of pain and rolled. Marsh loomed in the dark room. The candle flickered.
I feel like I'm doing the commentator's curse. As soon as I'm like, he's doing well.
Look, I don't think Vin is the hero of ages. I think she's going to do what Reshek did and push off, buy them some time, essentially, but push it off. And then the next book is them looking for who the real hero of ages is.
Yeah. I'm with you on that.
Yeah. So I don't think Sazed's going to be successful here, though I do think he will live, because I think he's the hero of ages and has to do it in the next book. Brain fried. Let's keep going. Marsh loomed in the dark room. The candle flickered. "You were wrong, Sazed," Marsh said quietly. "Once I was not a warrior, but that has changed. You spent the last year teaching, but I spent it killing so many people." Why? Who? Obligators?
Mine says you spent the last 2 years teaching, but I spent them killing. So that's a big change. It's a whole year. But yours makes more sense to me. It seems like he was around.
Yeah. Marsh stepped forward and Sazed coughed, trying to get his bruised body to move. He worried that he'd re-broken his arm. He tapped zinc again, speeding up his thoughts, but that didn't help his body move. He could only watch, more fully aware of his predicament and unable to do a thing to stop it, as Marsh picked up the fallen lamp. Sazed's candle finally went out.
I don't want your candle to go out, Sazed, no.
Yet he could still see Marsh's face. Blood dripped from the crushed socket. This is scary imagery. Well done. Making the man's expression even harder to read. The Inquisitor seemed sorrowful as he raised the lamp in a claw-like grip, intending to smash it down into Sazed's face. Fate, Sazed thought. Where is that light coming from? A dueling cane smashed against the back of Marsh's head, shattering into splinters. Ooh, who has dueling canes that we know of? Ham? He has a cane because he's injured.
Yeah, it's a dueling cane. I associate that with... I also associate canes with, Breeze? But I think Ham would probably be the one.
Ham's
that
there,
you would think
so...
of.
I bet it's Ham.
And Ham... I don't know, man, if you're going to hit him, don't hit him with... I don't know, why hit him with a cane? Literally use your hands to...
pull the thing out.
Because he's hitting him in the back, so I don't know, maybe this is somebody that doesn't have that strength. The dueling cane is all they have. Because I'm thinking if you're Ham... Yes, Ham has one injured arm, so I'm not understanding. Yeah.
Vin and Elend walked up to the pool. Elend knelt quietly beside it, but Vin just stood, staring at the glittering liquid. It was gathered in a small depression in the rock, and it looked thick, like metal, a silvery white glowing liquid metal. The well was only a few feet across, but its power loomed in her mind. Drink it and burn it?
See what it is, if it's metal, I don't know. Well, drink molten metal. I don't know.
Is it hot?
Okay. Yeah, I don't think so.
Vin was so enraptured by the beautiful pool, in fact, that she didn't see the mist spirit until Ellen's grip tightened on her arm. She looked up, noticing the spirit standing before them. It seemed to have its head bowed, but as she turned, its shadowy form stood up straighter. She'd never seen the creature outside. Okay.
I don't want any mist knives and things here. Just tell us.
Yes,
but it can't, hey.
Is this a good one or a bad one?
Mm.
She'd never seen the creature outside of the mist. It still wasn't completely whole. Mist puffed from its body, flowing downward, creating its amorphous form, persistent pattern. Vin hissed quietly, pulling out a dagger. "Wait!" Ellen said, standing. She frowned, shooting him a glance. "I don't think it's dangerous, Vin," he said, stepping away from her toward the spirit.
"Ellen, no!"
she said, but he gently shook her free. "It visited me while you were gone, Vin," he explained. "It didn't hurt me. It just seemed like it wanted me to know something." He smiled.
"Yeah, but there's different ones, we've decided."
Yes, and this could have been avoided if Vin had said, "Hey, that mist thing tried to stab you."
Yes, thank you, Vin. And also allomancy, because remember, these things seem to have emotional allomancy on you.
Yes, and the other mist creature that did try to be friends with him was pointing him in the other direction. He smiled, still wearing his nondescript cloak and traveling clothing, and walked slowly up to the mist spirit. "What is it you want?" The mist spirit stood, immobile for a moment, then it raised its arm. Something flashed, reflecting the pool's light.
"No!"
Vin screamed, dashing forward as the spirit slashed across Ellen's gut. "Oh, gee! I'm so surprised! Stupid Ellen!"
But he was
Sorry,
also
Ellen.
being allomanced. He was also being allomanced. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, Ellen is, now Vin's gonna have to worry about Ellen while she's doing all of this. And why do we have to kill Ellen? Because
it's so Vin has the complex moral dilemma. Do I take the power to save Ellen, or do I use the power to save the world?
Yeah, here we go.
"No!" Vin screamed, dashing forward as the spirit slashed across Ellen's gut. Ellen grunted in pain, then stumbled.
"Ellen!"
Vin said, scrambling to Ellen's side as he slipped and fell to the ground. The spirit backed away, dripping blood from somewhere within its deceptively incorporeal form. Ellen's blood. Ellen lay, shocked. What?
The spirit backed away, dripping blood from somewhere within its deceptively... So, is it dripping blood from whatever it used to stab him, or is he
That's
bleeding?
What I thought.
Is it bleeding? Okay,
no, I think it's whatever he used to stab Ellen with. It's Ellen's blood dripping from the weapon. Ellen lay shocked, eyes wide. Vin flared pewter and ripped open the front of his jacket, exposing the wound. The spirit had cut deeply into his belly, slashing his gut open.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, this is also going to force her to take the power.
Or give Ellen the power, because it made Rashek
put him
immortal.
In the well. Yeah. Well, it made... Yeah, it did. But Rashek was immortal because of his compounding, though.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or, well, he was also a sliver of infinity, whatever that means.
Yeah. No.
Vin said, mind growing numb, Ellen's blood on her hands. The wound was very bad. Deadly. Ham dropped the broken cane with his good arm.
Yay!
It was Ham.
Okay, yeah.
The beefy thug looked incredibly pleased with himself as he stepped over Marsh's body and reached his good hand toward Sazed.
Wait, what do you mean his body? What did you do?
Knocked him out, I guess.
But that's... Yeah, okay.
That's so temporary. Restrain him before you check on Sazed.
How do you restrain him even? Just
I don't know.
Kill him.
Yeah. No.
But I guess maybe Ham
bloodthirsty kitty.
No, I just... Listen, it's kind of like in a zombie apocalypse, you double tap. That's the thing. We can't trust him. Okay? This is desperate times.
Didn't expect to find you here, Saz, the thug said. Dizzy, Sazed took the hand and climbed to his feet. He stumbled over Marsh's body, somehow distractedly knowing that a simple club to the head wouldn't be enough to kill the creature. Yet Sazed
So why are you calling it a body?
Yeah.
You're still calling it a body.
Yet Sazed was too addled to care. He picked up his candle, lit it from Ham's lantern, and made his way toward the stairs, forcing himself onward. He had to keep going. He had to get to Vin.
Ugh.
Oh my gosh. Vin cradled Elend in her arms, her cloak forming a hasty and dreadfully inadequate bandage around his torso.
I love you.
She whispered, tears warm on her cold cheeks.
Elend, I love you. I love you.
Love wouldn't be enough. He was trembling, eyes staring upward, barely able to focus. He gasped, and blood bubbled in his spittle. Yeah. She turned to the side.
I don't want him to die.
We did predict Elend would die in this book.
Yeah, but then we changed our minds, and now I'm still with my mind on that.
She turned to the side, numbly realizing where she knelt. The pool glowed beside her, next to where Elend had fallen. Some of his blood had dribbled into the pool. What does that mean? Though it didn't mix with the liquid metal.
I can save him,
she realized.
The power of creation rests just inches from my fingers.
This was the place where Rashek had ascended to godhood, the Well of Ascension. She looked back at Elend, at his dying eyes. He tried to focus on her, but he seemed to be having trouble controlling his muscles. It seemed like he was trying to smile. Vin rolled up her coat. I mean, I think we both know what Elend would say Vin should do in this situation.
Yeah, we do, yeah.
Vin rolled up her coat and put it beneath his head. Then she walked up to the pool. She could hear it thumping, as if calling to her, calling for her to join with it. She stepped onto the pool. It resisted her touch, but her foot began to sink. She stepped onto the pool. It resisted her touch, but her foot began to sink, slowly. She stepped forward, moving into the center of the pool, waiting as she sank. Within seconds, the pool was up to her chest, the glowing liquid all around her. She took a breath, then leaned her head back, looking up as the pool absorbed her, covering her face.
Okay, I hope we get answers in here. But, yeah, she's in Elantris, we don't know.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like she intends to use it to save Elend.
I think, in my mind, when we were theorizing about where this was going, I thought that that's probably what it's going to land up being. And she would have to go through some sort of mind thing where she has to choose to let him go. And it's horribly traumatic.
Yeah. I mean, her choosing to save Elend is her not being the hero of ages. She doesn't do what she's supposed to do. Sazed stumbled down the stairs, a candle held in quivering fingers. Ham was calling after him. He passed a confused spook on the landing below and ignored the boy's questions. However, as he began to make his way down to the cavern floor, he slowed. A small tremor ran through the rock. Somehow, he knew he was too late. Shame on you, Marsh.
Yeah, the tremor. Yeah, shame on you, Marsh. You did all of this. And there might have not have been the mist spirit getting to Elend because of that.
Yeah. The power came upon her suddenly. She felt the liquid pressing against her, creeping into her body, crawling, forcing its way through the pores and opening in her skin. She opened her mouth to scream, and it rushed in that way too, choking her, gagging her. With a sudden flare, her left earlobe began to hurt. She cried out, pulling her earring free, dropping it into the depths. She pulled off her sash, letting it and her allomantic vials go as well, removing the only metals on her person. Okay,
metals burn.
Then she started to burn.
Okay, she burns. That's great.
She recognized the sensation. It was exactly like the feeling of burning metals in her stomach, except it came from her entire body. Her skin flared, her muscles flamed, and her very bones seemed on fire. She gasped and realized the metal was gone from her throat. She was glowing. She felt the power within, as if it were trying to burst back out. It was like the strength she gained by burning pewter, but amazingly more potent. It was a force of incredible capacity. It would have been beyond her ability to understand, but it expanded her mind, forcing her to grow and comprehend what she now possessed. Vin could remake the world. Ooh.
Okay.
She could push back the mists. She could feed millions with the wave of her hand, punish the evil, protect the weak. Those are the bad ones. The bad choices. Don't make those choices, because that's probably not what you're supposed to do with the power. She was in awe of herself. The cavern was transparent around her, and she saw the entire world spreading, magnificent sphere upon which life could exist only in small areas at the poles. She could fix that. She could make things better. She could save Elend. There it is.
Oof. Okay, hold on. Can't you do both of those things? If you can remake the whole of creation, I'm like, cool.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously, I don't know, magic can have rules. It's like either Elend or all of this. You have one wish.
Yeah.
And that's it.
And I'm seeing, she saw the entire world spreading, a magnificent sphere upon which life could exist only in small areas at the poles.
Mm-hmm.
So, small areas at the poles means there's, perhaps something in the northern hemisphere and then something in the southern hemisphere. A lot of dead, ashy world.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder what's going on the opposite side of the world.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. We don't know anything about that opposite side.
Mm-hmm. She glanced down and saw him dying. She immediately understood what was wrong with him. She could fix his damaged skin and sliced organs. You mustn't do that, child. Finn looked up with shock. You know what you must do, the voice said, whispering to her. It sounded aged, kindly.
The voice has a capital V for me. Does it for you as well?
Yes, it does.
Mm-hmm. I have to save him,
she cried. You know what you must do. And she did know. She saw it happen. She saw, as if in a vision, Rashek when he'd taken the power for himself. We're getting the answers.
Mm-hmm.
She saw the disasters he created. It was all or nothing, like allomancy in a way. If she took the power, she would have to burn it up in a few moments, remaking things as she pleased, but only for a brief time. Or she could give it up. I must defeat the deepness, the voice said. She saw that too. Okay, so she's speaking to the well.
Mm-hmm.
Or the power of the well.
Yeah, something.
She saw that too. Outside the palace in the city, across the land, people in the mists, shaking, falling. Many stayed indoors, thankfully. The traditions of the Ska were still strong among them. Yet some were out, those who trusted in Kelsier's words, that the mists could not hurt them. But now the mists could. They had changed, bringing death. This was the deepness. Mists that killed. Mists that were slowly covering the entire land. The deaths were sporadic. Vin saw many falling dead, but saw others simply falling, sick, and still others going about in the mists as if nothing were wrong. Crazy.
Okay, so this was happening when Alendi was on his way to the Well of Ascension.
I thought this was
sort of thing.
I thought she was seeing it now, the present.
Mm-hmm. No. I obviously know she's seeing the present, but I'm thinking of when Alendi went to the Well of Ascension. The reason he was going was because the deepness was on its way, basically. It was to defeat the deepness, right? So the deepness was already there, because remember we thought that Rashek created the world this way.
Mm-hmm.
We thought Rashek was the reason, because he wasn't the hero of ages and he took the power. That's why everything was ashy and what.
Hear me out. Super twisty. The voice is the deepness, not the mist. Mm-hmm. And if she lets it go, the voice, the deepness, is released from its prison, and that's what Quan realized and was trying to stop.
Yeah, that's pretty twisty, but also valid. And how the hell do we know that until she does what she thinks she's supposed to reveal all of that truth, and then Sazed has to actually defeat the deepness.
The deepness, yeah, because they can't actually stop the deepness until it's released, wreaks havoc, and then it, can be stopped. Like right now, it's a temp fix.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the big lie that all the big truth that Quan had.
Yeah.
But how would he know that?
I don't know.
Okay. Let's go.
It will get worse, the voice said quietly. It will kill and destroy. And if you try to stop it yourself, You will ruin the world as Reshek did before you.
Okay, so you see that the world was in trouble but not completely ruined, and then Reshek did the wrong thing, and that's what ruined the world. Okay, that's where we're at, according to this voice, obviously. Elend,
she whispered. She turned toward him, bleeding on the floor. At that moment, she remembered something Sazed had said.
You must love him enough to trust his wishes,
he had told her.
It isn't love unless you learn to respect him, not what you assume is best, but what he actually wants.
She saw Elend weeping. She saw him focusing on her, and she knew what he wanted. He wanted his people to live. He wanted the world to know peace and the Ska to be free. He wanted the deepness to be defeated. The safety of his people meant more to him than his own life. Far more.
You'll know what to do,
he'd told her moments before.
I trust you.
Vin closed her eyes and tears rolled down her cheeks. Apparently gods could cry.
I love you,
she whispered. She let the power go. She held the capacity to become a deity in her hands, and she gave it away, releasing it to the waiting void. She gave up Elend, because she knew that was what he wanted. The cavern immediately... I'm so proud of you, Vin. Even if you somehow accidentally destroy the world by doing this. Because she knew that was what he wanted. The cavern immediately began to shake. Vin cried out as the flaring power within her was ripped away, soaked up greedily by the void. She screamed, her glow fading, then fell into the now empty pool, head knocking against the rocks. The cavern continued to shake, dust and chips falling from the ceiling, and then, in a moment of surreal clarity, Vin heard a single distinct sentence ringing in her mind. I am free!
Oh, crap. That was what was keeping it. She opened the plug, she let it go. Oh, she was deceived. We can't blame her.
Yeah, this is
all of this lore around it, yeah.
This is totally the end of Lost, if the smoke monster managed to get off the island.
Well, now he's off the island. And, damn. Ellen's dead.
Not yet.
I'm not feeling... yeah, I suppose not yet. Yeah, that's true. We've got... Maybe he's not dying.
Sazed's running in. He can try and do something.
I don't know. It seems like he's pretty far gone. Like, there's organ damage in there.
Yeah.
But what happens to Vin? Yeah, this is worrying. We have some answers, but we don't have... Oh my god. It's just making me wonder what the hell the next book is going to be about. So how are we going to do any of this? Because if the Well of Ascension is gone, what power do we have against this thing?
Yeah. Assuming my twist prediction is correct, and that is an evil thing. Like, it could just be the power saying, I'm free, and I will do the good things. But no, this felt really ominous to me reading it.
Yeah. Yeah. Why you gotta say that? Like,
Yeah.
And Quan, bro, just write that in your fucking steel letter, guy. Say, hey, don't go to the Well of Ascension. Don't let this thing, because the deepness is this, and the deepness being released is a bad thing. Don't mess around with all of this knowledge, you moron.
Yeah. Because as far as I can tell, as far as we've gotten in the epigraphs, he hasn't told us shit.
Yes, exactly. All he's done is Alendi, and he's kept this away. It's like, tell us why. Oh, I don't want to put it in stone, I suppose, or in steel. No, really. He
doesn't even deny that the Hero of Ages is a thing. He just says it's not Alendi. Why not say, maybe there is no Hero of Ages, and it's our responsibility to keep the deepness locked away.
Hello? Why? If it is such a huge thing that is so life-threatening, why would you not put it in the steel? I know that it's scary for you because, oh no, I've told a lie or whatever, but no, you have to. The stakes are high enough for that, you moron, Quan. I'm angry at him. It's his fault.
What did you know?
Freaking. Yeah, what did you know and not go and tell people, or try at least to tell people?
Jeez.
No, you just sent an assassin. Maybe, don't you think that if you spoke to Alendi as well, and you said, Alendi, seriously, this is, or at least try, like, hey, Alendi, this is actually evil. don't let this thing out. It needs to be contained. It blah blah blah. Anything like that. Do that.
Yeah. Yep.
Ugh. Moron. And
Yeah.
also, it doesn't seem like Quan was dead after Rashek did all of this. Quan was around.
Probably. I doubt
Yeah.
Rashek would kill Quan.
Yeah. Or at least not immediately. Maybe, I don't know. There's some story there as well. Like, freaking... I blame Quan for all of this. Until further notice. Yeah.
Agreed. What a chapter.
Yep. And Doxon's dead.
Yeah, I think so too. What a... You know...
It wasn't an
Doxon.
off-screen death, essentially. It's just... We had a different kind of death for him. Everything went black.
Yeah. Thank you all for tuning in. Have a great rest of your week. Subscribe to that darn Kitta if you get a chance, because she's got a great channel. Next week, I guess, is going to be our last chapisode, because we're doing 59 and the epilogue together, so look forward to that. Okay, thanks, bye.
Okay, thanks, bye.